Earthlings, are you ready to be part of the Roundup? Miss Earth Crown presents the MEC Pageant Roundup Series, a unique review, commentary, talk, and engagement show where you take control. Tell us what or who you want us to talk about and how you want the show to go, or join us live with guest commentators every week and more surprises. The roundup begins October 3rd, only here on Miss Earth Ground.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another MEC Round Up episode. And we are now on episode 2. So we are so glad. First of all, we would like to thank everybody for tuning in last week and, of course, for sharing, for commenting, for joining our discussion. And this is going to be another round of that interesting discussion because we have a lot to talk about today. And, of course, with us are two very special guests who we will introduce in a bit. But for the meantime, let me introduce to you who will be with me tonight as, of course, co-hosts this evening. First, let's begin with our chief correspondent straight from Manila. Let's welcome Noy Sabilano. Hi, Noy.
Hello, straight from Manila, Philippines. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Welcome everyone on the MEC Pageant Roundup Episode 2. Maraming salamat. Thank you for tuning in. And we're going to have a really colorful and meaningful discussion tonight. So stay tuned and comment away your insights and your opinions on our topics for tonight. Thank you, Eman.
Thank you so much, Noy, for that. Yes, we are going to have a colorful discussion tonight. Not only because my shirt is colorful, but of course, our topics
Yes.
tonight will also be colorful. And speaking of colorful, I know actually he's wearing black tonight. So I will be introducing to you one of our co-hosts for tonight, of course, part of the what do we call ourselves? The Eco Beshies. Yes, there you go. Here we go. Let's welcome the editor in chief of Miss Earth Crown, Mr. Marky Gatchalian. Hi, Mark. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. I will never allow myself to be upstaged by Noy because he showed his mug. Hello, straight from Manila. I'm your
Oh my
plant
gosh.
Tito. I'm very excited to talk about the latest that happened. Actually, have a roundup of what happened this week. Also excited to engage with you guys. Just like last week, please take charge. We'd like to hear from you, and let's engage and talk more. That's it.
There you go. Thank you. I like how you have the Miss Earth Crown logo behind you and how clear your visuals is right now. So thank you very much. Now it's time for us to introduce our special guest panelists for tonight who will be joining us in the discussion and who might be answering your questions later on, you know. So as Noy said, please key in those comments and those questions later on, and of course your messages of support. Let's introduce our guest panelists for tonight, beginning with a very beautiful Miss Earth interview host, Sarah Massingale. Hi, Sarah.
Hi,
Thank you.
how's
Welcome
it
to Miss
going?
Earth. It's going. We're doing great. Welcome to Miss Earth Crown. By the way, this is your first time on Miss Earth Crown.
Yes,
Am I correct? Thank you
yes, sir.
so much. Thank you. And let's introduce, of course, our next guest with us right now is none other than Miss Earth Australia 2019 Queen Susanna Downs. Oh, look at that.
Oh my god.
My little, I don't have an Australia mug, so the kangaroo is all I want.
No, that is cute. That is definitely cuter than a mug. Thank you very much for that very cute introduction. Yeah, that very cute introduction, Queen Susanna. So before we start, we'd like to ask how you are doing right now. So Sarah, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing okay. It's a little early for me, so
Yes.
still waking up, but I'm happy to wake up and get to join you all.
Thank you so much. And actually, thank you for up very early. On the other hand, in Australia right now, it's already like midnight. Oh my
Yes.
God, two different
No.
time zones. So how are you right now, Susanna?
Look, it's been a very long day. I I was at work from 8:45 this morning,
Oh
and
my.
I had an event after work, and I just stayed up. So, I mean, it's
Wow.
nothing different to what Miss Earth was like last year. So I'm used
That's
to
right.
the
That
hectic
is
schedule
right.
of my life. So
Oh, that is right. But thank you so much. So thank you so much, Susanna, and of course, thank you so much, Sarah, for being here with us, despite these two very varying time zones right
fine.
now. And in the Philippines, it's I think it's seven, no, nine,
Nine.
right
It's
now,
actually
and I am
9:30.
in.
Yeah.
Yes, and I am in
9:30.
Japan, so right now it's 10 o'clock here in Japan. So we have
Oh
different.
wow! I didn't know
Yes, we have different time zones right now. But regardless of these time zones, our Earthlings are here, and we are all here. So thank you very much. And speaking of our Earthlings, thank you very much, our Earthlings, for being here. Okay. Harim Azhar is already asking, is Pakistan coming back? Well, we are going to talk about that in a bit, and we're not sure. But Migs Pilaes, who is always here with us, is now here with us again. Hello po. Hi to Emma, Noy, and Mark, and hi to Sarah and Susana.
Hi,
So
that.
those are
Meg.
our fan comments right now. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we are ready to begin. So
Woohoo!
yes, so let's do this fast, and we are going to be on our first segment for tonight. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So let us begin the night with our hashtag recap segment. And for our recap segment, I'm going to give the reins to Mark Lee. Hi, Mark.
There you go. Welcome. So, just like what we did last week, so today we'll have a rundown of what happened during the week, and we'll talk about those issues, and we'll probably hear the thoughts of our guests as well. So, let's start it off with the first issue. First one would be
Okay, our first issue tonight will actually be about woo, hitting
first
the
one, of
80 mark.
course. Congratulations. First, I'd like to start by congratulating Carousel Productions. Last week, when we looked at the roster of delegates, we only had 79 delegates. But as of today, we officially have 83 delegates. So good job to Carousel. Okay, so
Yay!
I'd
83
probably like to hear
delegates.
the thoughts of our queens here. Imagine, actually, 83 is already a good number to have an actual face-to-face or an actual pageant. But this is something that's quite different. It's virtual. What are your thoughts about this, Susanna? Given that it's something different, it's virtual, but we have a lot of delegates who are participating.
Yes, well, it's four off of what I had last year, I think. And
Wow.
I mean, that was already overwhelming just being in person with 84 women. But the fact that they've hit 80 and it's for the virtual version of Miss Earth,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it's a really great achievement because you would think, oh, they're not getting the full experience, so they're not going to take part in the pageant, but no, they're really gunning for it and wanting to actually be a part of it because it's so monumental and it's so different and out there
Mm-hmm.
and it's historical because it's just I'm excited about it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, but it's just I think that's really encouraging, the fact that even though they're not getting the experience to like travel to the Philippines or travel to
Mm-hmm.
wherever the country is for this year,
Mm-hmm.
they are still doing their part to be that eco warrior that they want to be, and they're doing whatever it takes to become the lead eco warrior of 2020. So I'm excited to see how it all goes.
Thank you. I can really sense your excitement. We too, we're really excited. But given that there are 83 delegates, I'd just like to ask the thoughts of Sarah here. What do you think are, if given a chance, let's say, I'd like you to put yourself in the shoes of the delegate. If you were part of this virtual competition, you're competing against 83 beautiful, equally beautiful, intelligent women. What would you do, and what would you feel if you were in their shoes?
Yeah, so I can completely imagine and understand the I guess how overwhelming it might be. I know I've competed virtually and there were only I think 29 of us, and even then I was like, oh my gosh, these girls are awesome. Like this is wild.
Exactly.
So I
Right.
can imagine that they would be very overwhelmed, but I think I would be super excited to get to be part of something new and something that isn't necessarily expected. I know a lot of other um, organizations have
Mhm.
pushed their shows back, so
Hmm.
I'm really excited and I would love to see how this all turns out, just being as it's one of the very few international competitions we're going to get to see this year.
Agree,
Right.
agree with you. And you know what? The thing is, before this started, a lot of fans were very skeptical about it. Some of them even shared that, it's already virtual. I think the countries will back out. Well, surprise, surprise. Majority of them actually joined, and we have 83 delegates. So that's kudos to everyone in Carousel Productions, and of course Miss Earth Organization and the other international franchises. There you go. So that's the first one. We have hit 80 mark, or 83 delegates. Next concern or issue would be hashtag interpreter problems. Okay, so uh, I and also Nona have watched some videos, and I noticed that there were challenges aside from just technical challenges or technical issues. There were also issues when it comes to the language. So the
Yeah.
thing is, they were already in their countries, and they also had the appropriate or ample time to get the best resources, such as an interpreter, for them to be understood in the Earth talks. But before I share my thoughts, I'd probably hear the thoughts of Nonoy. Noy, what do you think about these hashtag interpreter issues and interpreter problems?
Yes, it's actually quite unfortunate. As you mentioned, Mark, the delegates are already in their own countries. So we were expecting that they were going to be able to like get like the best people, like the best team to help out the candidates, most especially during the Earth Talk sessions. But then lo and behold, there were still some candidates who had a really difficult time like expressing themselves, of course, through the interpreter. It's as if the interpreter needed another interpreter to interpret their answers. So that was quite a challenge. Right, that was quite a challenge, and I don't know if I can pinpoint like some candidates. One example there was Paraguay from the Americas. It was quite unfortunate because in the comment section during the Earth Talks, the fans were like saying that we wish that there was a different interpreter for Paraguay because they felt the passionate answers coming from the delegate. So again,
Agree.
if this is going to happen again in for some of the candidates, I hope that it's not going to happen anymore because again the delegates are going to be in a disadvantage knowing that they are already in their own country. So we are hoping that the teams are going to like do their very best to provide these delegates with the right people to help them out during the Earth Talk sessions.
I agree with you. It was not an isolated case. This already happened with Argentina. But the issue with
Yeah.
Argentina is she did not utilize her interpreter. But this time that the delegates are using their interpreters, I think the interpreters also needed help, extra help. We had delegates from Reunion Island who had challenges actually understanding the questions. Same goes for the interpreter of Ecuador. If you've noticed, Ecuador was also already upset. I could sense and I could see in her facial expression that she was upset because she was very well knowledgeable. If you were to look at her body language, she knew what she was saying. It's just that the interpreter was unable to translate that effectively during the Earth Talk. But here's the thing. The good thing here is these girls can bounce back. And like what you've shared last week, Nonoy, this is just, it's not even judged. It's not even scored. Okay, so this is a chance for the delegates to be known by or get in touch with their fans. So there
Yeah.
is still a chance for them to bounce back. So now we are telling the organizations, please get the best
Please.
resources for
Yeah.
your representatives. All right. So there, we're done. Hashtag interpreter problems. Another issue or concern would be our. There you go. This is very
Oh.
recent. I think this just happened, or the issue just was put to our attention yesterday or last night, if I'm not mistaken. Although this is unconfirmed, okay, they say that Pakistan is about to pull out. Eman, what are your thoughts about this recent pull out?
Well, if I don't know, I mean, although Pakistan, Miss Earth, Miss Pakistan World, the organization of Miss Earth Pakistan, replied to that, saying that they are also out. I would like to wait until it's fully confirmed because right now, Aruji's picture is still up on the website. So if they're just encountering some hurdle, I hope that it gets solved soon. We were able to have the opportunity, the honor actually, and the pleasure to interview Aruj in one of our episodes during our MEC Talk 2020. And she is one of the most articulate, eloquent, well-spoken candidates, not only in Asia, but the whole roster of the pageant actually this year. So we really wish the best for her. And hopefully, this is just a bump on the road and they'll be able to overcome this. Mark?
Yes, I just find it really. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I just really find it really odd that their reason for backing out would be because of the resources.
Hmm.
That's odd for me because they are already in their country. So I would understand. It's understandable if they were competing in another country, but they are in their country. So we probably put this just for now as an unconfirmed report. Nothing is confirmed yet because she is still officially part of the roster. She's still in the Miss Earth page. Her picture is still there. So unless the organization makes an official announcement, she's still part of the Miss Earth 2020 roster. All right. So
Yes.
there. Thank you. Do we have other issues that we need to talk about?
Well, that's it for now. But our audience are actually our Earthlings are actually chiming in.
Yes. If you
Okay.
don't mind
Well,
reading some of their comments.
yes. Harim asked earlier if Pakistan is going to make a comeback. So right now we still don't know, but just like everyone else, we hope that she does. Okay. And of course, Kevin says, ang gaganda naman at ang fresh ng mga hosts. So Kevin is saying, the hosts are fresh and beautiful. Thank you so much. Yes, that includes everyone, Sarah, of course, and Susanna too. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kevin.
Kevin.
Hey, hey, Kevin. And then Kathy Ponsuelo says, hi, Team MEC. Shout out to your gorgeous guest queens for tonight, Sarah and Susanna. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Kathy.
much. There you go. And of course, our the one who's always here, and our winner of MECQ of Miss Earth Crown quiz last week, Starla Abalayan, is here right now saying, hello, Starla. Thank you for watching. And of course, this won't be an MEC episode without Zani. Zani is here. Hello, MEC, and to Susanna and Sarah too.
Well,
I'm sure you know Zani.
I know that
I'm
very well. He actually
right.
met my family last year.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, yeah. Because I
I
think
met my
Zani.
mum, all of my family at the end of the pageant, but like I'd met him during like right after. Oh, what did we do? Figure and form. So meeting him in person, like I'd met him online, but then meeting him in person was after figure and form, and then after the coronation, he met my whole family.
That is amazing. Thank you. Zani's like all over the place. He's all around the world, and he was
He
able
was
to live
on
in
it all the
Australia for
time.
a while too. Right? So
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you, Zani, for all the support. There you go. And Zani is asking, from what I've heard, Pakistan has limited resources for joining Miss Earth 2020, though it's not confirmed yet. So it was last night. Yeah. Hopefully they are able to fix that and be able to join because we would love for them to be around. Okay.
Yes. Also, just to
Yeah.
add on that, just note that we've already
Mhm.
reached out to our Rouge and her team, but so far we haven't received
We
any
haven't had
response yet.
response, and we will be waiting for that, Aruj. Thank you so much. There you go. And last for our comment before we move to our next segment, Carla Maywit. Hello, good evening, MEC team, and to our two angels. Oh, and actually, Zani says, "Oh, Susanna, you do remember." There you go.
Of course.
Of course, right? Thank you so much. Thank you, Zani, for that comment. There you go. And now it is time to move on to our next segment, and that is, of course, Thank you so much. Okay, so now let's move on to our hashtag takeaways segment. And this time, this will be facilitated by Noy. Noy, take it away.
Thank you, Eman. So for this segment, we are going to ask the members of the panel to give their own insights or takeaways on the specific topics during the Earth Talk session. So, like lessons learned or new things that they learned from the delegates. We'll start off with the very first topic, which is science to nature and its impact and benefit to the environment. So, I'd like to ask first, Sarah, what were some of your takeaways during the sessions for science to nature, this specific topic?
Yes, so I thought it was super interesting. Sorry, I keep saying super because I'm struggling for better adjectives at the moment. Um, but I thought it was really interesting to see what aspects of science really stood out to the delegates from these different countries. Um, I know a lot of people will focus on things like technology as far as, I guess you could say, energy sources or things like that. But I really loved how, sorry, I have notes that I'm sort of sourcing because I didn't want to forget anything. Um, I loved that Jamaica was talking about how we need science to understand nature because that's not something that we really hear about that much. So that really stood out to me.
Amazing.
There you go. Actually, to be honest, personally, I think this was one of the more challenging topics, so to say, because
Mm,
number one, the delegates were really expected to do their homework, as in a lot of research, because we're talking about science. So definitely, the delegates were expected to like do their research on the technical knowledge about the sciences, technology, and actually connect it with the environment. So kudos to the delegates, and those are really great insights. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing those insights. Mark, what about you?
I think one thing that struck me the most was, I think, a statement which came from Reunion Island when she said that science is the reason why there are technological advancement that which will be beneficial not just to human beings but also to the environment. One example that she cited was the use of the turbine for it's like air converting it to their energy, so which is something that's widely used in Reunion Island. So she talked about and focused more and emphasized more on the benefits of science that could also really help save the environment. So that's one thing that really struck me the most, and I agree with that. And I think also Jamaica mentioned or shared something about because of science we now know the benefits of I think plant-based diet,
Hmm.
if I got that correctly. Okay,
Yep, that was
so
one of the things in my notes.
there you go, plant-based diet. So because of the advancements in the studies and researches, now people are more aware that they have food choices such as plant-based diets because it's more nutritious, it's good for the health, plus good for the environment. We all know
Mhm.
that this is a fact. The less we consume meat, the less contribution we have with carbon emissions. Okay, so if you're a non-meat eater, you do not contribute to greenhouse gases. So I think that's one thing that also struck me the most. So there.
There you go. So again, I also agree with Mark that most definitely that the sessions with the science and nature as their topic, it was actually a great opportunity for them. For some candidates, if they are working on a science-based advocacy like renewable energy, like for India, for example, that was a really great opportunity for them to actually put the spotlight on what they're doing as a candidate to Miss Earth 2020. So kudos to all of the
Yes.
candidates for those sessions. Really great job. Now, I'd like to get the insights coming from Eman this time on like the importance of agriculture, which is a really important topic nowadays, most especially during the pandemic. Eman, what are some of your insights on the sessions on
okay.
agriculture?
Yes, thank you so much. Well, let me pull that banner up for a second. There you go. So, for our next takeaway, the importance of agriculture amidst the pandemic. So, this was discussed also this week on Earth Talk. My own personal takeaway on this one is that right now in the midst of the pandemic, there's a lack of access to food because a lot of farms and a lot of places where agriculture takes place traditionally are not accessible right now. This is what causes the problem. Actually, I was looking things up and I read from some information from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. And it's really a dire situation right now because not only lives are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, but also livelihood. And there's a lack of access to food. And this will cost 83 million people more to go hungry. And that is already on top of 690 million people that are already hungry in the world right now. So it's really a must to address the problem of agriculture. Of course, as a person, as an ordinary person, it will be hard for us to do this, together on a large scale. But we can do some personal steps. And that is, of course, taking agriculture from the farm to our homes. And that can be done through backyard farming, which a lot of people are doing right now, urban gardening, and even aquaponics, which I learned actually through Miss Philippines Earth Roxy Bay. And so that is my own takeaway right now. So I think as a person, as an individual, it is also our responsibility to learn about this and be able to take agriculture back into our homes and be able to produce our own food so that we can alleviate the effects of the pandemic on our agriculture. So that would be my takeaway on that.
Wow. Eman, as if you're also on the Earth Talks with your impressive insights. Great, great
Yes.
insights. Yes.
Congratulations, Miss Japan.
Miss
Congratulations.
Japan.
Yes.
Miss
What?
Japan.
We
Okay.
give you our star. No, but then seriously speaking, yes, I also agree with what Eman mentioned. I think one of the major key takeaways during the Earth Talk sessions for agriculture was that there was a really great highlight on um, the importance of urban gardening during this time to make sure that people become more self-sufficient in terms of like food security, which is actually a really great takeaway and a really great like, call to action for everyone around the world, right? I'd like to also get Susanna's insights on this one. What is your own takeaway on this one?
So here in Australia, agriculture is really, really a big industry. Farming in general is a lot of people's livelihoods here. So it's been like very, very similar to what Eman said. A lot of people rely upon farming and getting livestock out to people for their livelihood. And there was a really big period of time where there was no meat coming into any supermarkets during the pandemic, and it was really, really tricky for those people. But this is kind of also tying it in with the science part of it, because I went plant-based I went completely vegan after I got back home from Miss Earth last year, and realizing that I wasn't going to go hungry because I wasn't missing out on like, oh, I don't have any meat to cook with my meals, because I had an abundance of vegetables and fruit and soy products and tofu and any mock meats that were made, because you can make those using vegetables and
Hmm.
anything else
Right.
that isn't made from meat. It was such an easier way of going about creating meals for myself during the pandemic. But for the people that actually rely upon agriculture for their careers and just to live in general, it was really tricky at the beginning, but as time went on here in Australia, it got a lot easier and they were able to produce more meat. But for myself personally, I learned about this during our eco seminar at Miss Earth last
Mm,
year.
I see.
The meat industry actually is, because to create 1 kilogram of meat, you need like, I forget what the exact amount of tons of water is, but it's an excessive amount of water to create just 1 kilo of meat. Where if you want to plant a whole bunch of vegetables and
Mm,
fruit, it it's less water and it's less wasteful, and we're not wasting our resources of water and air and energy into creating food that we're killing lives for, basically.
I see.
But in terms of it all within the pandemic, you know, it's like you want to be supporting these farmers directly. So purchasing from organic farms, like if they have them open to the public, or going to markets that are specifically straight from the farmers, rather than having to go through a supermarket that, you know, they could be like putting in growth hormones into their food, or
Right.
picking them, like flash freezing them so that they're getting them at their ripest, when you should be getting them at the most organic and that's freshly picked. So here in Australia specifically, like we can go directly to farms and like support them straight out. And I think that's the most important part of supporting our agriculture industry, by supporting them straight away from the farmers' hands themselves, because that's the direct way of being able to put money in their hands right there, and making sure that they're making a living and not wasting produce, because especially within the seasons, like they could be making like here, like plums and nectarines and stone fruits during the wintertime. But if they're not able to get those products out to anyone because they can't travel, like because we've had borders closed in the last few months, like Queensland has been closed off to anyone. New South Wales has been closed off to a few states. Melbourne's been completely shut down because they had a lot of cases. If they're not able to travel to the states that they can usually travel to get their produce out to, they're not making any money. So if you've got a local farm or a local farmer's market, the best thing you can do to be able to support those farmers and give them a chance to survive themselves is purchasing directly from them. And that's going to help them in the pandemic. 100%.
Yes. Actually, those are really great insights. Actually, I'd like to like synthesize what you just mentioned. I think also during the Earth Talks, there was a really like great call for all of the countries to support local products during this time, and also like give like full support to the farmers, because that's the only way that we can make the agriculture survive and thrive during these times. So that was like the major like battle cry during the Earth Talks for agriculture, like support local, love local products. And I was really happy that that was one of the insights, the key insights that like all of the delegates were able to like give during the session for agriculture. So thank you, Susanna, for sharing those as well. Okay, now let's move on to our last topic. So this was a topic on the solution to the damages inflicted to tourism during the pandemic. So I'd like to start first. One of the major things that I learned during the sessions for tourism is that I think the candidates were asked about what they think would be the best way for the tourism industry in their country to like survive or actually come back or bounce back. And the major takeaway among most of the candidates was that we have to ensure, the government must ensure that safety is of key importance during this time. Okay, so of course, if the countries are not safe yet, there will be no like tourists coming in the country. So I think that was one of the major things. So it's also really connected with like health, and of course the economy, and of course tourism. So interrelated. These are very interrelated. I'd like to get like insights from any member of the panel.
I think I agree with you on that. No, I think this was a topic that was discussed by the European region. I think it was Germany, Spain, and I can't recall Estonia. I don't know if it's Estonia.
There you go.
Oh yeah, so there. So and they said that they are supporting domestic travel. They're also accepting international travelers. I think especially for Germany and Estonia, if I'm not mistaken. They've already opened up, but they have to follow strict medical or government protocols. Okay, so meaning before they enter the country, they have to complete the medical requirements. They also have to do quarantine first. And on top of that, they are encouraging their locals to travel domestically. So I think, unfortunately for Spain, they're still on lockdown until October, if I'm not mistaken. But for Germany, they've already opened up around June or July. So because they wanted to continue and pump up the economy. So they're encouraging local tourism. They're also encouraging international tourists to come to their country, given that they follow health or proper health protocols. So there.
And one last thing, actually, I was actually very interested when they were asked what was the first country they're interested to visit after the pandemic. So there were a lot of interesting answers. A lot of them answered the Philippines, of course. Philippines. But it was a really interesting session for tourism because again, it's close to heart. A lot of the delegates would have loved to come to the Philippines for the competition, but then of course because of the restrictions they cannot. So thank you to all of our panelists for your takeaways. Now I would like to invite all of the fans tuned in right now. If you have your own takeaways or insights on the topics during the Earth Talks, feel free to key in your comments right now because I think Eman will like read a couple of your comments right now from the comment
Yes, yes,
section,
yes.
right, Eman?
We have some comment section, and one of them is from Zan Eman, Miss Earth Talk Japan. What? Hello, Zani. You're so funny. Okay, there you go. And then we wait. We also have a comment from Master Hughes. Just finished watching Earth Talk, and I was so impressed with today's
Oh
batch,
yes.
especially Bangladesh. Yes, we will actually be talking about who stood out on Earth Talks in a little bit. Okay, so we are still going to accept and read your takeaways later on, but for now, those are our Earthlings who commented on the takeaways. Okay, so thank you very much, and that's it. Thank you. That was such a nice discussion on the takeaways. And speaking of takeaways, these takeaways were taken from the Earth Talks. And of course, mainly our Earth Queens, our Eco Angels from different countries talked about these topics. So now it's time for us to talk about who was able to present themselves very well and talk about the topics very well. Because now it is time for the hashtag Earth Talk Stars. There
I'm
you
excited for this.
go. Yes, yes, yes. Actually, so today, let's talk about the our Earth Talk stars. Okay, so we had actually this is going to be a little. I don't know if it's going to be easier because we have less sessions to talk about this week. Last episode we had 2 weeks worth of Earth Talks that we watched and talked about, but this time we have 1 week of Earth Talks that we're going to look at, and that's what we're going to do right now. I'm just looking at the, there you go, the banner, Earth Talk stars for right now. Let's go over the continents. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at each continent, each group, and pick the Earth Talk stars from each continent based on what we saw, and based on what we think, how we think they did. Okay, and right now let's start with our first continent. Our first continent for Earth Talk stars is ta-da! Okay,
Uh,
ours Asia and Oceania. Okay, so this week, sorry, I'm going to just take out the banner for a bit so that we can all be seen. There you go. Thank you for that. So let's look at the Earth Talk stars from Asia and Oceania. So we have Miss Bangladesh. This to our to your left, Earthlings, the banner that's to your left just happened tonight, right
mhm.
before we started our episode. So it was the talk of Miss Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Sri Lanka, and then we also had China, New Zealand, and Northern Mariana. So that's kicked off this week with their Earth Talk. Okay, so among our Eco Angels from Asia and Oceania, who are your Earth Talk stars? Let's start with Noy. Is Noy
Me
here?
first? Okay.
Oh, there.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
here.
sorry.
Yes. Okay.
There you go. Sorry, I couldn't.
So
Yeah, see you.
for this content I chose for my Earth Talk stars, I chose first Vietnam, in
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam. Why? Because she had great conviction with her answers. Again, she was also one good example of you don't have to be like really fluent with English if you are comfortable like using your own language, or if you want to push through using English, as long as you're passionate about what you're saying, it's going to like translate on screen. And you know that she had really spot on responses during the Earth Talk session. All of the answers were really spot on. So I give my first star to Vietnam. Second star, actually fresh from the Earth Talks this evening, Cambodia. I love the fact that she seems so warm and enthusiastic during the
Mm-hmm.
session, and she's really well spoken. So I love that about her. And so those are my two Earth Talk stars for this week. But then I'm going to give my
Okay.
brownie points to three delegates. First one is Bangladesh. She did really great tonight, but then I was looking for more enthusiasm. I think I also agree with one of the comments in the about the Earth Talks session tonight, that the session
Mm-hmm.
tonight was really great. I was just looking for that extra thing from the delegates. So I think among the three, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Cambodia, Cambodia exuded more confidence, more enthusiasm, and more passion with her answers. So Bangladesh, brownie points. And I also gave my brownie points to China. China had really great presence on screen. Um, it's just that I was looking for more personality, but then I think it also helped that her interpreter was actually really good. So this is one of the
Mm.
great examples that her response in Chinese actually matched the great interpretation of her translator during the session. So they were like a great team. So I give China my brownie point. And one more brownie point, Lebanon, because she did really well with her answers, really great impact, really great presence. I just needed more consistency in terms of like being more engaging, being more like enthusiastic as well. So those are my Earth Talk stars for Team Asian Oceania.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, I think we're missing one poster from this slide, no? So we have the poster of Vietnam also and
Yeah,
Lebanon.
yeah.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much. So they are also included in this week's Earth Talk stars that we are talking about. How about you, Mark? Who are your Earth Talk stars for this week?
Um, I would have to agree with Noy. I really love the personality of Cambodia. She was very enthusiastic. I felt like she's drawing me in when she was talking to or sharing her thoughts during the Earth Talk. Also, I think I'll give a very big star to Vietnam. And the reason why I love Vietnam, I was surprised with her. Her topic was about agriculture. And here's the thing, when she started, she shared a personal story about herself. She said that her family, she actually grew up in a family of farmers. And she said that if you are a farmer or you have a family who is a farmer, you should never be ashamed of it because that's what she grew up in. So that's something that resonated to me because it's something personal. So probably a tip that I could give to all the girls, if you'd like to connect to your fans, share something personal about you, or if you're in a preliminary competition, the more personal it is and the more tailor fitted your story is, the better. You should have a narrative or a story to tell. So that's why I give that very big star to Vietnam. I really loved her story. She got me there. Another star as well for Cambodia because of the personality. I'll give a brownie point to Bangladesh. I agree with Noy. I needed and wanted to see some personality there, but she was very well spoken and very well researched. Although I may have to disagree with Noy on China, I felt like the interpreter of China was over interpreting. And I was
Oh.
so there. That's it.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much, Mark. Over interpreting. Wow. All right. How about Queen Sarah? Okay, what you have any take on our Miss Earth Talk for China, for Asia and Oceania, China.
So, with school, and I'm working on a master's program, so with school and work, I haven't had the chance to watch all of them, unfortunately. I do plan on catching up.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up, I fell asleep watching them, and I woke up to Imani asking people questions, and I was like, oh, how did this happen? But I did get to see a little bit of Vietnam's, and I really liked that you could just tell what mattered to her. When she spoke,
Mm-hmm.
you knew what was important and you knew what she was trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thank you very. Yes, that's a very important take. So thank you for that, Sarah. Now I'd like to ask Susanna a different question because as a Miss Earth, yes, candidate last year as the representative of Australia, you were able to go through sessions as well. Not exactly as rigorous as what they're having right now, probably, but tell us about your own experience and what do you think, based from your experience, how should our candidates right now, given that it's a virtual pageant, perform in virtual talks, in sessions, in seminars that they are required to speak in?
Well, I definitely agree with Mark in the sense that you need to be really personal and show who you are through how you're talking, because a screen can only do so much. Like I was lucky that I did everything of my competition in person, and so they could
Hmm.
like your judges could literally feel your energy and
That's right.
everything that you're about. And for me, being a performer, I'm very exuberant and I'm very, I do a lot of movement when I talk.
Yeah.
Um, so that it just shows my personality and who I am and what I bring to the table. And just being very personal with things. When we visited the AFP at the beginning of our competition, my grandfather
Oh.
was a member of the Philippine Army. So I was very I was talking to everyone about how much it really meant for me to be visiting the
Hmm. Hmm.
Filipino military, because it was a part of my heritage and a part of my upbringing to really respect the military of the Philippines. Um, but then at the same time, when we were around children, at that time I was teaching singing and drama to school children, and it really really touched me. And I was able to talk to the mayor of Loreto when we went
Hmm.
over and talked to her just about how emotional I got watching these kids do traditional dances and
Hmm.
seeing how much hard work they did, because a few of my fellow delegates, they didn't really appreciate it as much, and they would
Hmm.
just take photos and go about their day. But these kids would have worked hard for us, and you
Hmm.
want to show your appreciation and talk. Like anytime we were given a chance to speak, you want to show your appreciation for just being able to have their say.
Hmm.
So that was always something that I was really making sure I made that a point, because you could have picked any one of the 20 something girls in my group and you picked me
Hmm.
to say something. So I was always really appreciative.
That's so
Um,
nice.
and like you guys said, that energy and that excitement about speaking and having that passion about what you're talking about, because we don't want to crown just another robot, because we haven't had any robots as our Miss Earth. Um,
Right.
because you want someone that genuinely has a passion about protecting the environment, because otherwise, what's the point? And we have so
Right.
many amazing women that are competing this year for the Miss Earth 2020 title, that you want someone that can portray that love for the environment, portray that want to help protect our planet through a screen. And that can be hard to do. But
Hmm.
if you're showing that love and not just like standing here and just, you know, absolutely nothing behind the eyes,
Hmm.
you know who's going to win by watching them.
Right. That is
Yeah.
true. That is true. Thank you so much for that insight. It's straight from a performer herself who is also a passionate earth advocate. That is such a great tip, advice for our earth queens, for our eco angels this year. Thank you. Thank you so much, Susanna, for that. And those are our Earth Talk stars for Asia and Oceania. Let's do a little bit of a recap. So our queens are giving their stars to Vietnam, Bangladesh, and China. And of course, Cambodia is also getting a brownie point. There you go. Thank you so much. Now let's go to our next um, continent. So, who will be the Earth Talk stars for our next continent? Okay, please Please feel free to add to it, Noy. If I only have one poster on screen right now. So is
Yeah,
this correct?
sure.
So this, yes, for Team Europe, we have Miss Estonia, Miss Germany, and Miss Spain. So we are going to choose only one Earth Talk star from this group. Okay, so who wants to start? Let's start with you, Mark.
I think I will give a very big star to Germany. She was very well spoken. Her face translated well on screen. Only one. I wanted to give. I also want to give another star
Then give a
to
brownie
another
point.
girl. Okay, I'll just give a brownie point to who's the other girl aside from Masonia? It's Spain.
Germany, Spain, Estonia.
Yes. I love Spain as well. The energy is there. She also knew what was happening in her country when she shared about the lockdown and that their economy is not yet opened, but they're encouraging domestic travel. So I'll give a brownie point to Spain. Estonia, you know what? Here's the good thing with Estonia. She started really, really well in the first half of the interview, but then there was some. Okay, there were parts in the interview wherein she really got nervous, and it really we saw that in the
True.
interview. So the good thing about this Estonia, okay, is it's not scored. It's just an opportunity for you to connect with your fans. You still have an opportunity to bounce back. So if you do not understand the question, the tip there is if English is not your first language, please get an interpreter. There. So that's my advice to Estonia. But initially, she really did well. It's just that at the latter part, um, she probably did not understand some of the questions that were raised by the moderators. So there.
Mm, there you go. And also, taking from Mark's advice, my advice to our Eco Angels is also listen to Mark. Follow his advice. You know what I mean. There you go. So,
He was a
and now,
judge.
yeah, Mark was a judge last year, so we don't know what's gonna happen this year. So, Noy, what's your take on our trio for this week?
Yes. Actually, we're actually missing one more like social card. But then actually I'm going to discuss that later on. I'd
Okay.
like to give my first star to Spain. Spain
Mm-hmm.
was such a joy to watch. I mean, just the just the happiness when she was speaking. I mean, I think that's what's going to separate the other candidate, like the really passionate and really enthusiastic candidates from the other ones is the joy. I mean, I was looking for the joy when they're speaking because if I wanted to, like know about the facts and the figures about the pandemic, about the tourism or whatnot, I would just read it on Google, right? I need
Mm-hmm.
someone who I would want to listen to, and I think the main thing there is you will have to be a joy to watch during the Earth Talk, like the magnetic personality, and I think Spain had
That's
that
right.
during the session. So good job to Spain, and I'm also giving my other star to UK. UK was actually really bubbly, very dynamic, also really enthusiastic, and I think she presented her facts really well in really digestible like responses because for
Yes.
yes
Oh,
Agreed.
who's
yes
that?
And
I
Dexter
know
is
there's a
saying
cat
hi.
here. Like this one. He agrees that
What
UK
the?
is an Earth Talk star. Okay. Like because UK, I think for that specific topic on science,
Yes.
we'll have to make sure that we present our information in really digestible, really easy to understand responses,
Yes.
most especially if we're talking about like facts and figures. And I think
Yes.
QQ was able to do that
Agree.
with a lot of passion and happiness and joy
Agree.
during the session. So I'm giving my two Earth Talk stars to Spain and UK because of the personality, the effervescent personality, and the joy during the sessions.
Can I
Okay.
also add one? And I'm sorry because I did not see
Okay.
UK, but I saw her. I saw her interview. Promise. I was impressed by
Yes, yes,
UK.
yes.
Um,
Yes, okay,
I
we'll
was
give
just
that to
assuming
UK
that
too.
the pictures that you showed were the ones that I would choose from. But I also like to add
Okay.
United Kingdom. I think she is a professional something. I forgot her official title, but her
Conservationist.
conservationist. There you go. So she's a professional conservationist. She was very well spoken, and I agree that with what Nonay said, that her topic was too scientific. But if I were a commoner who would just listen to her, I would understand it because she's explaining it in chunks. It was really, really good, really, really nice. So I would also like to give that star to United Kingdom. Good job to UK.
There you go. Thank you so much for that. So, any one of our queens and other guests too, and me. Anyway, so yes, while you guys are gathering your thoughts, let's look at our Earthlings also. Zani says England, UK has got the best English accent and command too. Okay, there you go. But actually, Zani has a list already. But we're going to mention first his Asia and Oceania and Europe takes. So for
That's
Asia,
everyone.
Vietnam or Cambodia, yes, Vietnam or Cambodia. And for Europe, do you have your Europe here
Yeah,
already? Okay, there
yeah.
you go. England,
English.
UK, Slovenia, and Italy. There you go. So those are Zanny's take. Okay, there you go. And Angel Strong is with us right now. Hello, Angel. Thank you very much for guessing. Yeah, Sarah's like saying hi to you. Spain was very sweet. So I think Angel is giving her star to Spain. There you go. What else do look at our let's look at our also. Oh, Mester says Bangladesh. Yes, yes, tonight. So Mester is giving his star to Bangladesh. I love how she answered the questions, especially the game fun part and the final statement. There you go. So that's Mester's pick is Bangladesh. And we just have somebody who's in right now. Ralph. Hey, Ralph, you're back. Ralph is with us right now and he says, "Good morning, everyone."
Hi,
I
Ralph.
I bet it's morning there. And Ralph is also saying hello to Angel. There you go. There is actually a chat going on our live feed right now. So there you go. Thank you very much to you guys for saying. And Carla Maywitt is also notice also what I noticed. She says right on just when you said to hashtag joy to watch, your cat jumped in onto your lap because he wants to be the hashtag joy to watch right now. There you right. You have a cat too? Okay, there you go.
Right.
Oh wow! So black and white cats
Yeah.
reign the
Yeah.
night.
This is the
There you
official Miss Earth Crown mascot.
cat.
Say hello to Dexter.
He's so
Thank you
cute.
so much.
He
All
is
right.
entry.
Think now let's let's look at the next set of
No,
our
no,
Earth
I'm
Talk
sorry, Eman. Are
stars.
you supposed to move on to Europe? Is it okay if I call out something?
Yes, what are you calling
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
Especially for the Team Europe batch. This is the second time that I saw
You sound so
during an Earth
frustrated. What's
Talk,
this?
okay, while they're being interviewed, they're
Uh-huh.
traveling or they're inside their car. So, girls,
Uh,
um, if you want to engage with your fans and if you want people to get to know you, if you don't mind being in an area where you will not be distracted and people will get to know you, this is your
But
only opportunity for people to get to know you. Earth Talk is really quite a unique experience for you and a unique experience for your fans. So please, if you're doing an Earth Talk, do not travel. There
wait,
you go.
uh,
was she actually driving?
In the passenger
she's
seat, I think the
she was
delegate
being
was in the passenger seat. And initially, I thought it was an isolated thing. But the thing is, for the Team Europe, it's the second time that I saw that. So, um, so
At
girls,
least
I'm so sorry, but that's not right. When you're doing an Earth Talk, don't travel. Okay, be stationary. Okay, your
mm-hmm,
fans would love to get to know you.
So well, let me just since we're on that topic, what would be your opinion on that, Queen Sarah? Like reserving a time that you really are inside a room, and being able to talk to the fans and engaging while you're stationary. Is that important? Or sometimes is it understandable if like, oh, I was caught traveling maybe because there's some reasons. What do you think about that?
I think I personally prefer setting a specific time so that you know that you have a controlled environment, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think under extenuating circumstances, if something comes up and there is an emergency that you do have to travel, it is understandable to have to do things where you can. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a balance thing, I think, personally.
Yes, that is right. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for that opinion. That's worth taking note, Mark, of course. Hopefully, of course, some reasons had, so yeah, just like Sarah said, some extenuating reasons cause that to happen. But yes, that's a tip for everybody in the future. And so now let's move to Team Africa. Okay, let me know again if we lack a social card for this one. But for Team Africa this week, we had Reunion Island. It's interesting that Reunion Island has parts that are in Africa and Europe, and then Sierra Leone, Kenya, and Mauritius. Anyone else, Noy? I'm missing. Yeah. So with Team Africa, who are
Ghana.
your
Ghana, yes.
Ghana? Yes, we have Ghana also. Yes, for Earth Talk this week, who are your Earth Talk stars for Team Africa? Noy, let's start with you.
Actually, I have two. I gave two of my stars to first Ghana
Mm-hmm.
because number one, she has really great credentials, really great background. She has a master's degree. But then aside from that, I think she is like the fully realized Miss Earth 2020 candidate. Like just the way she speaks, the way she presents her
Wow.
ideas, very eloquent with and of course the way she like presents her statements. I was just really glued to her when she was talking during the session. So good job to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
And my second star is I give it to Kenya. Okay? Because
Okay.
while Ghana is a really powerful and like impactful speaker, Kenya was like the more inspiring, more hopeful, had a more hopeful vibe when she delivered her answers. She was really inspiring, really warm. She gave a really great answer about how do you inspire, encourage the youth to go into agriculture during this time of the pandemic. She was really warm with her answers. So I was really impressed with Kenya during that session. And actually, as a whole, Africa during the Earth Talk sessions, they were doing a really amazing job during the sessions. We had some of the most powerful speakers and candidates for the Earth Talk sessions from Africa. Personally, I think so. Great
Mm-hmm.
job to
Yeah.
everyone in this continent.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I agree with you. And Ghana was also amazing. Ghana has been fielding a great queen from actually a lot for the previous years, including this
Yes.
year. So at this point, anyone in our panel can also chime in and tell us their Earth Talk stars. Yes.
So I'm gonna chime in fast because I'm usually the
Okay,
last
Sarah.
one to chime in, and then I miss my window. Um, as I mentioned earlier, I had notes as I was watching these just so I didn't forget anything. And when I was going back over them, I realized I had more notes on Kenya specifically than some of the other delegates combined.
Hmm.
um,
Wow.
so I'm taking it that that is where my personal star would be going, is to Kenya.
Hmm.
I loved that she talked about how important it was for her to get her community involved. And I think we see a lot of girls saying, oh, it's really important to get your community involved, but you don't really hear about what they are doing to get their community involved. You just hear what they're
Mm.
doing while they are out in their community. And I think that that really was something that I found refreshing. And I also loved, um, sorry, I had another note real quick.
That's okay.
She
So
was talking
Kenya.
about using, this is just a personal note about her that I thought kind of made her stick out to me, was that she was talking about using old containers to plant rather than stocking up at the stores when it comes to food.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
that kind of connected to me just because that's something that I have been doing, but that's also something that I myself was advocating for in all of my own,
Mm.
I guess, I've lost the word that I'm looking for, but that was something that I had been talking about a lot through social media and through all of my visits with people in the community. And so that was something that I was like, yes, keep it going all over the world. Let's do this.
Right. That's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So you can perfectly relate to Kenya. That's why it resonates to you, and it probably resonates to a lot of people as well. That's why Kenya is a
Yes,
star.
And
agree.
that's
You
why
know what I agree? Yes.
Hmm.
Continue,
Sorry.
Sarah.
Go,
I
go,
was just going to
Sarah.
say that's something that I think is really important. Yes, it's important to know the facts and to know things about the environment. But I think that in all aspects of being a title holder, regardless of the organization, something that is really important is being relatable to the people that you represent and the people that you hope to represent. Because how can anyone expect you to represent them if they don't feel like you're part of them, if they don't feel like they can understand you, or if they don't feel like they could walk up and just have a conversation with you? It's harder to see you as somebody, as a representation of themselves. So I think the fact that she was so relatable and relatable to me on the other side of the world is something that's really important.
I
There
agree.
you go. Thank you so much. What's your
And
take on
also
that, Mark?
Yeah,
the
I totally
talk.
agree with what Sarah said. And I think
Hmm.
that's the reason why Kenya resonated more to me. It's because aside from the fact that she's inspiring, she's involving her community and there's call to action. That's very, very important. That's why she struck a chord when I was listening to her. So I agree with
Hmm.
what Sarah mentioned. So totally I'll give her my star. I'll give her a star.
There you go. Thank you for that. How about you, Queen Susanna? Aside from uh, who struck who struck a chord with you, and also I think this ties into what you said about being able to give energy, and Sarah was talking about being able to make them feel that you represent them as a
Yeah.
queen.
Well, I think also the ability to be able to, like, yes, you can talk about so many things. Wow, that was very Australian sounding. Wow. Being able to talk about the topics that you're advocating for, but do you actually believe in them? Do you
Mhm.
actually live it every day? Like I did talk about like the benefits of a plant-based diet when I was at Miss Earth, but I wasn't living it 100%. And it wasn't until
Mhm.
I came home and knew how
Mhm.
like, I had control over my own food that I could actually walk the talk, not just talk the talk. I was actually
Right.
doing what I was talking about. And
Right.
I've been 100% vegan for the last 10 months now, and it's been
Amazing.
fantastic. Because, just being able to actually advocate for something
Mhm.
that I believe in. And like today, I had to order my own pizza because my friends couldn't get a vegan pizza, but it's okay because Domino's makes
Right.
vegan
Yeah.
pizza.
Yeah. Of course.
But yeah, it's just, and seeing it through the screen that this girl actually believes in what she's talking about,
Agree.
because you can have like a script. I'm watching it on the computer. So, you can have a script on your phone and secretly have it right here, and like these are
Yeah.
the tricks that you have. Like you could be reading it right there and make it look like you know what you're talking about, but really you're just spouting out words. If they're not coming from here, it doesn't mean
Mhm.
anything.
Right. That's
Agree.
true.
Candidacy is a farce. It's complete like shamble. And so I love the fact that Miss Kenya seems to live what she's talking about. And it's not just, oh, because I'm this representative now, I have to do this. No, it's
Yeah.
like genuinely a part of her life. And that's what
Right.
being Miss Earth candidate, whether you are Miss Earth 2020 or you're just Miss Earth for your own country, if
Mhm.
you're not living your advocacy, what's the point? That's all I'm going to
Exactly. Yes. Wow.
Preach
That
it,
is also.
sister.
Mm.
say.
Right. That's true. That is true. That's true. And let's thank you so much for that. And also, Angel, who's still watching, still with us, also votes for Reunion Island in Kenya. And also, she says Ghana was very powerful as well. I am an optimist, so I love Kenya's point. So there you go. Thank you so much. So those are our Earth Talk stars from Africa. And let's go to our
However,
last.
Emma, and I'm so sorry. Is it okay if I add more? Just one thing.
Yes,
Another call
Mark.
out. There were. Are you already tired of my call outs?
No, we're like scared whenever you're like, can I add
No,
something?
you know
It's
what? I
like,
really just wanted the best for
I
these
feel
girls.
scared.
Okay, especially in Africa. There were girls in Africa who really prepared and they did their best. The thing is, it did not translate well on screen. There were
Hmm.
girls whose internet connection was very unstable. There were
Mm.
girls whose interpreters were really not good interpreters. There were girls who were reading responses. They
Trick.
were just reading a script. Okay, so um, I will not call out the girls because I think their performance is a reflection of how they were handled by their organization, right?
Mhm.
So therefore, I will call out their organization. So how the girl performs on screen is a reflection of how the organization handles them. So if their internet connection is unstable, then it's the responsibility of the organization. If the girls cannot understand and they are not provided an interpreter, it's the organization's responsibility. If the girls are not able to answer well, it's because they were not prepared by the organization. So I'd like to tell the organization that the girls who are representing your organization are not just representing the org, they're also representing the country, which is the name of the country across their chest. So please, your Earth Talk is your litmus test. The Carousel Productions is also watching you. You still have a chance to bounce back. This is feedback because we care. Please, I hope that in the preliminaries, you do better. Thank you.
Well, okay. Need I say
Nakakatakot.
more? Oh, in Tagalog, nakakatakot, scary. Okay, need I say more? But yes, of course, Mark has a point. Although, when it comes to internet connection, sometimes I feel like in some countries the internet connection is beyond them. So sometimes we understand that aspect. But you
Yeah,
are
I agree with
right.
that.
Yes. There you go. Now let's go to the next continent. Okay. So since you're already on screen, Mark, I will ask you for your um, Earthlock stars from Americas. And again, I'm gonna consult, of course, our expert here, Noy, if I'm missing another social card. Okay. So from Team Americas, we have Colombia, Ecuador, Miss Jamaica, Canada, Chile, and Paraguay. Okay. Who
All right.
else?
I'll give my. Can I start?
Yes, of course. The
I'll
screen is
give
already
my.
yours.
I'll give the big star to Colombia. I'll be honest. When I saw the representative from Colombia, and I just base it on pictures, I almost ignored her. However, when I saw her during the interview, oh my God, she was so gorgeous in motion. She's like South
Mm-hmm.
Africa. Okay, you wouldn't notice her if you're going to base your judgment on pictures, but
Mm-hmm.
Colombia was very gorgeous. She was very engaging. She has one of the best interpreters as well. Okay, so Colombia has one of the best interpreters along with Chile. So I'll give, she was very comprehensible. She was very strong with her advocacy and I understood what she wanted to say. So I'll give a very big star to Colombia. So if Michelle Gomez as well as Valeria and Juliana Franco are watching, you have a very strong contender. Colombia is in the game once again. And another star that I would like to give, and the reason why I'm giving this star is because this woman, despite of her challenge, and her challenge was the interpreter, she was very well composed and she still finished her Earth Talk. So I'll give the star to Paraguay. Okay, so she had a challenge with her interpreter, but the thing is, she left a very good impression to me because she was well prepared. She knew what she was talking about. And I like that she also had a visual aid when she was sharing about her advocacy. She showed her bag. It was, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why I remembered her. Okay, so that's a tip. So if you'd really like to be remembered, be impactful. Either bring a
Mm-hmm.
visual aid or walk the talk. So I give that star again as well to Paraguay. So those are my two stars. But I'll give
Thank
a brownie
you.
point to Macarena. I think her name is Macarena, Chile. She's
Mm-hmm.
very
Chile.
beautiful. Chile, very beautiful, translates well on screen, and has one of the best interpreters. She's also very well spoken, so I'll give that brownie point to Chile. There you
Thank
go.
you so much for yes. So your choice, your Colombia and Paraguay, and your brownie points to Chile. Queen Sarah, what is your take on our Americas batch?
So I think I mentioned this earlier, I can't quite recall, but I loved that Jamaica was pointing out, yeah, I said that I love that she pointed out that we needed science to understand nature, but I also
Mm-hmm.
really liked that she was talking about how we can use science and the things that we've learned through science to um, create and discuss, sort of decide what was best as far as the things that we're putting in and on our bodies, and
Mm-hmm.
things that are using things that are natural. Because I think so many girls focus on, like I said earlier, they focus on like, oh, well, we've got electric cars and we've got all these other sources of energy. But you don't hear and you do hear obviously about, being vegan and vegetarian, but you don't really hear as much about the things that you're putting on your body, like your skincare products, your soaps.
Right.
And I thought that was something that really stood out, and I liked that she took a very different approach.
Thank you so much. Yes, so Jamaica for Queen Sarah. How about you, Noy? Who are your Earth Talk stars for Team Americas?
Well, I agree with Mark. Paraguay, once again, the interpreter didn't do justice for her answers during the session. But then, just based on like her passion when she spoke in Spanish, I think that already merits an Earth Talk star for Paraguay. And Colombia. My God, such a surprise, because I mean, people I think were just already discounting Colombia as part of their top picks for this year. But then I think Colombia is back in the game, as Mark mentioned. So do not sleep on Colombia. Colombia is still Colombia for Miss Earth 2020. And I'd like to give my third Earth Talk star to Canada. I think for me, there is a certain effect on me if the speaker on screen is like warm and really relatable and sincere. And I think Canada had that certain quality during the session. Because when she talked about like convincing people about I think she's a frontliner as well when she like spoke to people about the importance of like wearing masks and convincing and encouraging them to like take the health precautions during this time. I think I believed her and I was on board with her, and I think it was because of her sincere and warm quality when she spoke during the session. So I have again Paraguay, Colombia, and Canada for the Americas for me.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much. Okay, so based on what was there based on what you've seen, Queen Susanna, so what is your take on our America's team?
I think we haven't had anyone speak up about or make it an important part about wearing a mask and keeping yourself safe. So I love that Miss Canada like brought that up in her Earth Talk, and I think because she's a nurse, if I can remember. Yeah.
She is.
Her announcement came out. She was actually on a shift. Because I mean, it might be my bias because Miss Canada is my best friend. So, but
Amazing.
I think Miss Canada, my Canada, Matea is my best.
Okay, yes, Matea.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
Matea.
I have always high expectations for Canada because of how well she represented her country, and just those are very big. I mean, not as big as my feet, but big shoes to fill after Matea. And I think she's brought that personal aspect of working in the health industry and working basically as a frontliner, as a nurse. You're wanting to make sure that even though one of their topics, like main topics, was agriculture, you're still relating it to what you're having to go through the pandemic.
Right, that's true.
That's that personal story that people are wanting to hear from. I think it's great that Miss Columbia has been this like, oh, surprise, I'm actually amazing.
Yeah.
To come out of it, because that's what you want. You want that underdog to win. And I like she's photographically stunning, but I think so many photographically stunning women out there that to pick like your top 16 and then your top 12 and then your top 4, it's so difficult. And but it's always once you hear what they have to say and how they bring that story and how they bring their advocacy across, that's when you find out who the true frontliners are. And I think that's great that this initial Earth Talk, because that's what it's all about. It's about getting the audience and getting the fans and even the judges' initial reaction, because even though they're not being judged on this, they're still watching. And you want a good first impression. That's what these Earth Talks are. It's their first impression. So I love that this has been kind of her, stepping out of the box, I guess, if you want to call these things. And it's just blossoming to become really, really great for her. I feel that.
That's true. We agree. Thank you so much for that, Susanna. Yes, there you go. So for Team Americas, we have Canada, Colombia, Paraguay, Jamaica as well, and some brownie points for Chile. So thank you very much for those takes on our Earth Talk stars. There you go. So thank you. Those are our Earth Talk stars. Yes, Zani says Argentina is gorgeous, but she couldn't speak English well, and her interpreter wasn't good either. So that was Zanny's take. Macarena is learning to improve her English, but she does have a good interpreter. So I agree. Zanny agrees with that. And also from the Americas, with the exception of Guyana, I thought Bolivia spoke English very well without an interpreter. So thank you very much for those takes, Zanny. Thank you. So that is our Earth Talk stars, ladies and gentlemen. And we have just passed that. That was one of our actually our key segments for tonight. So after the Earth Talk stars and after that very intense session, let us now go to our last segment, which is actually a game. Okay. So, and this time we invite all of you, our Earthlings, to join our game for tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, this is MECQ, Miss Earth Crown Quiz. Welcome to MECQ. Yes, not this is the MECQ
Wow.
that you would like to have, not modified enhanced community quarantine, but Miss Earth Crown quiz. There you go. And did you just notice how the views went up when we announced that we're already on our quiz part? Thank you so much for that. Now, tonight, or today, wherever you are, actually, we have two questions once again, and we have special prizes to be given away tonight. Okay, so for our MECQ Miss Earth Crown quiz tonight, we have two very special items, and one of them is from our one of our guests for tonight, and we would like to thank her. Thank you very much, Queen Sarah, for giving us this prize to give away. So one person is going to receive a bag from Queen Sarah. Okay, preferably, of course, somebody from the USA, so it's going to be easy to ship. But also, we're going to have, of course, our sponsor for this week again, Sense of Humor Perfume. We're going to give a perfume set from Sense of Humor, the one that Noy is holding, and we already actually was able to deliver one of our first set that went to our winner from last week. So actually, our prices will depend on where you are. So just hang on. So wherever you are, of course, right now we're opening it up to everybody. So wherever you are, you can answer. And of course, the price that we may be able to give you will depend on wherever you are in the Philippines or maybe in the world. Okay, let's see about that. Okay, so this time it's open for everyone. So Earthlings, this is our MECQ Miss Earth Crown quiz. Let's go to our first question. Please ready your Miss Earth knowledge. Here's our first question. And this is very easy. Since it is the 20th year of Miss Earth right now, we would like to go back 20 years ago and ask you, name the first ever Miss Earth winner and her country. That's what we want. Name the first ever Miss Earth winner and her country. Okay, so please type in your answers right now. So whoever, yes. So who is the first Miss Earth winner and from what country did she come from? Okay, so that is our first question. Okay, so whether now or later, we will be accepting answers. Okay, but as always, the first to answer will be getting the prize. Okay, so name the first ever Miss Earth winner and the country where she is from. Okay, there you go. Oh, okay, nobody's able to answer right now. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for the answer to the first one, so just key in question number one or number one and then your answer. Let's go to the next question as well. Okay. So, oh, this is really nice. I like this question. For our question, not question one, sorry, question two. Okay. In Miss Earth 20-year history, it was held outside the Philippines only twice, in Vietnam and Austria. So, in what years were these, respectively? Okay. In Miss Earth's 20-year history, it was held outside the Philippines only twice, in Vietnam and Austria. So, in what years were these, respectively? So, those are our two questions. So, key in number two and then your answers. I think some Earthlings are researching for the answers right now. That's okay.
And I think we already have someone who answered,
Yes.
responded,
Okay.
Eman.
Angel is actually the first person to answer the question. Okay. So I guess this is going to be easy for Sarah. So Angel says Katharina Svensson of Denmark. Okay, and she corrected herself. That's Katharina Svensson of Denmark. There you go. And of course, Zani also answered Katharina Svensson of Denmark. So you have to do rock, paper, scissors, Angel and Zani, to find out who the prize is going to go to. But thank you very much for answering those questions. Thank you so much.
Right. But
There
I
you
think it
go.
was Angel who answered first.
Yes, Angel answered first, of
I was gonna
course.
say
So
we'll look at the
Angel,
timestamps.
yeah, we are going to look at the timestamp. Actually, they both answered at 11:37 p.m.
What?
Both of them. Yeah. So the same time. Yeah. But on our screen, actually, Angel was able to key in first. So I guess
Okay.
the first winner for our first question is Angel. But
Yeah,
Zanny gets
hey.
his chance. Zanny gets his chance because he was able to answer the second question. Okay, so Miss Earth in
Hey.
Vietnam was held in 2010. Okay, and Miss Earth in Austria was held in 2015. So
That's correct.
congratulations, Zanny, for your
Woo!
answers. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So those are our questions for our Miss Earth Crown quiz for this week. Thank you very, very much. All right. Thank you so much to everyone. Now it's time for us. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, and of course, and our guests also have some commitments to attend to. But we are now ending our session for today, but not without, of course, asking our dear guests, our queens, to tell our Earthlings where they can follow them. Where can our Earthlings follow you, and what activities are you are keeping you busy right now? Let's start with Sarah. Sarah, any message or for support, or also what are you up to right now?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you again to all of you for inviting me to join you. I was so excited when I got the message. Um, what I'm doing right now, I'm going to school. I'm working on a master's degree in public administration. So I'm working on that. I should be finishing up in May, assuming everything goes smoothly. I'm working a lot, as much as I can. But I do have some things coming up. Well, something big coming up in January. Not going to outright say it, but I'm assuming some of y'all know what it is if you're really keeping up.
Mm-hmm.
And you can follow me on Instagram at Sarah Massengale Official. So.
Okay, there you go. Please
I think I
follow
know
Queen
what
Sarah.
Sarah's talking about.
Yes, 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 but we're
Wish
not gonna talk
wish you
about that.
well.
We're not gonna talk about that right now yet. Maybe we cannot. I don't know. We want to, but maybe we'll have to keep it for now. Thank you so much, Sarah, and we wish you all the best. Thank you, thank you. And
Thank you.
Queen Susanna, thank you very much for being with us right now. How can your supporters keep up with you?
Yes, sir. On Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well. I'm at Sana Danielle, which I mean in the Philippines, Sana means hope, so it's kind of
Yes.
like tag. I've been trying to advocate Sana all as kind of my thing, even though I know it's not my own thing, but I want to incorporate it into everything that I'm doing. Um, if you follow my YouTube, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will see my entire Miss Earth experience. I vlogged the whole entire thing from the day I landed in, well,
Mm-hmm.
from the morning I left Australia to the last day of coronation, where you have a lovely moment of Matea and I eating dessert in the bus
Mm-hmm.
back to the hotel. But I just wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
when I for your incredible support of me. I'm currently filming a series that will be in Australia next year. It's a 4-part TV series. Yeah, I'm not allowed to
Yay!
actually start it now 2 weeks ago, and I've been filming for the last week, and it's all about Filipino women in Australia and their journeys and the different, I guess, stories that happen, and just like different, like immigration, working as nannies, working as domestic workers, and just
Mhm.
what it's truly like being an like someone that's immigrated from the Philippines to Australia
Mhm.
in certain ways. My character is really great. She's so much fun. Um,
Wow.
Wow.
We're
Princess,
excited.
Princess from Cebu. That's what I'm gonna say.
Exciting.
And it's so much fun. It's basically just like if I was born in the Philippines instead of being born in Australia. So I'm not doing
Yeah.
too much acting, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for it to come out. And so I hope you guys in the Philippines and all over the world can like find it easily,
Mhm.
like can easily watch it. And if not,
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yes. We are very excited for that, and thank you very much. We know that you have a busy schedule, and you've been filming, of course, and so thank you very much for still being with us despite that busy schedule.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you
Queen
so much,
Sarah
Sienna.
and Susanna, and of course, thank you, Queen Sarah, despite your
Thank you,
busy
Sarah.
schedule, studying, and of course, with your preparation for your upcoming event like this coming year. Thank
January.
you very much for being with us, and thank you, Dexter, for being with us tonight as well.
Thank you,
Very good.
Dexter.
And that is it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in again to another episode of MEC Roundup. After this, of course, we you can still rewatch on Facebook and on Miss Earthground's YouTube page. Okay, so with that, we are ending our broadcast for tonight. In behalf of everybody, in behalf of our guests Susanna and Sarah, and of course, in behalf of Marky and Noy, this has been Emmanuel Feliciano, your main host for tonight, wishing you all safety, good health, and of course, today, before the day ends, I would like to remind you today is Mental Health Awareness Day. So let's all take care also of our mental health, our hearts, our souls, and our minds. Thank you very much, and goodbye, everyone. Have a great night.